In Russia, the second day of the 16th BRICS Summit concluded with the declaration of a global reform, adopted on Wednesday and unanimously approved by all the members of the bloc. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with his Venezuelan counterpart, President Nicolás Maduro, to seal strategic alliances on the sidelines of the 2024 BRICS Summit. The Lebanese resistance Hezbollah confirmed the assassination of Hashem Safi al-Din after an aggressive criminal incursion of the Israeli army. Hello, welcome from the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Russia, the second day of the 16th BRICS Summit concluded with the declaration of a global reform, adopted on Wednesday and unanimously approved by all the members of the bloc. The comprehensive document titled Kazan Declaration emphasizes on reforms in global security and multilateralism, gathering 134 points. It reflects the bloc's collective vision and goals and establishes the future course of action the BRICS strive to take as it defines the benchmarks for long-term cooperation. The bloc touched on the impact of unilateral sanctions on the global economy and highlighted the use of other national currencies in order to reduce the dependence on the dollar. In addition, leaders called for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza and reaffirmed BRICS support for a comprehensive reform of the United Nations, including the Security Council, to increase the representation of developing countries. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with his counterpart President Nicolás Maduro on Wednesday to seal strategic alliances in the framework of the 2024 BRICS Summit. During the meeting, the Russian head of state thanked the Venezuelan president for attending the Kazan Summit, as well as for participating in the work carried out by the bloc. He supported the desire of the Venezuelan president to join the BRICS and highlighted Venezuela is a great partner for the Eurasian country and other countries of the world. Furthermore, Putin emphasized that strategic relations with Venezuela are increasingly strengthened and growing in various commercial areas, and stressed that both countries must continue supporting each other.
Venezuela is one of Russia's long-standing reliable partners in Latin America and the wider world. The relations of our country's strategic partnership continue to strengthen. A mutually beneficial cooperation is developing in all areas. Together, Russia and Venezuela are striving to create a new and fairer world order based on the rule of law, the inadmissibility of colonial methods of interference in states' internal affairs, political and financial pressure, and unilateral coercive measures. We appreciate that Venezuela shares our assessment of the current international situation and consistently provides support in the face of the hybrid warfare and Russophobic campaign thrown at our country.
And during a bilateral meeting with the top-level Russian delegation attending the BRICS Summit, Venezuela's President Nicolás Maduro highlighted the role of the bloc in facing the challenges of the 21st century and congratulated President Putin for the organization of what he described as a historic summit.
Venezuela está en el camino de los BRICS, porque está en el camino del equilibrio del mundo.
Venezuela is on the path of the BRICS because it is on the path of world balance since Bolivar's times, and because we have a legacy of Commander Hugo Chavez, which is to build a pluripolar and multicentric world. We put in practice the principles of the BRICS out of conviction. The Global South can only exist as long as it has the right to have a better future of equality, of freedom, of prosperity. Yes, this 21st century is the century of the great change, of the great transformation, the century of the birth of a new geopolitical scenario, where the new emerging superpowers like China, like Russia, like India, can carry out relations of respect and cooperation with the peoples of the Global South and with the peoples of the Global East, because in the end, we are brotherly peoples of the world. So I congratulate you on the success of this historic summit of the world.
The BRICS Summit in Kazan, Russia continued with the meeting of the presidents and the announcement of a final declaration. Experts observe that the alliance makes important progress. Representatives of the Global South voice hope. Details from our special envoy Yunus Soner in Kazan.
The second day of the 16th summit of the BRICS Alliance here in Kazan, Russia, started with a meeting of the presidents of the alliance. The first speech, the opening speech, was held by Russian President Vladimir Putin, who emphasized, among other topics, institutional issues of the alliance itself.
Подчеркнув, Россия с большой ответственностью подошла к организации нашей совместной деятельности в рамках объединения в текущем году. Мы стремились к тому, чтобы упрочить авторитет БРИКС, повысить его роль в мировых делах, в решении насущных глобальных и региональных проблем.
Previously, the alliance appeared to be a forum of debate, but this has changed now, argues Sergei Stankiewicz.
Starting from this forum, BRICS appeared to be a working machine with certain institutions inside, with plans, with working groups, with projects that should be implemented in a defined time schedule. So BRICS was transformed into a real important and practical international organization.
After their expanded meeting, the leaders agreed on a final declaration that promises to further promote BRICS institutional development. This parallels financial integration between members.
The countries which gathered here, they invented the new mechanism of international trade exchanges, trade payments. They will propose new digital etalon, which will open the way to make quick, real-time conversions from one national currency to another national currency. And the exchange rate will be defined not against dollar, but using this digital etalon. This is the main innovation with very important practical consequences, and it was adopted right here.
Interbank cooperation mechanism, cross-border payment initiative, cross-border settlement and depositing infrastructure. The list of measures in the declaration to fight sanctions and circumvent the dollar is long. Observers are impressed.
We have a new word, was Shan who is raising, and this new word become the word for the multilateralism, because we need some changement if we want peace, if we want no conflict. And we have some instruments to finance our development, and break pay and some changement breaks has coming is very good for our country.
The final resolution and the statements of the presidents taken together, BRICS has made a leap forward, especially in institutionalization and in achieving financial system that is beyond Western control. Yunus Soner, Kazan, Russia.
The enlargement of the BRICS can contribute to the economic strengthening of the group vis-à-vis other international blocs, becoming an alternative for the construction of the new world order.
The multilateral bloc expanded its cooperation capabilities in 2024 by including Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates as new member states, positioning this group as a powerhouse on the global economic, social, and political scene. The BRICS reached a combined population of 3.5 billion people, representing 45% of the world's population. The bloc's economy dominates more than 35% of the world's gross domestic product, surpassing in economic terms the Group of Seven, G7. In terms of oil, the association currently produces more than 43 million barrels per day, which represents 44% of global crude oil production. The new BRICS Development Bank, as a multilateral financial powerhouse, reached an authorized capital of $100 billion, consolidating itself as an alternative to conventional Western-controlled financial institutions. With at least 40 states interested in joining this bloc, the BRICS are expanding their multilateral cooperation to address the world order dominated by the ambitions of the West and promote the economic and commercial inclusion of the countries of the Global South.
Let's now take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Lebanese resistance Hezbollah confirmed the assassination of Hashem Safi al-Din after an aggressive criminal incursion of the Israeli army. Hezbollah announced on Wednesday the death of the chairman of its executive council in a Zionist aggression. Following the announcement, the Lebanese resistance expressed its commitment to the martyrs to continue the path of resistance and struggle until achieving the goals of freedom and victory. For many years, Sayed Hashem Safi al-Din headed the Executive Council and its different institutions and units. He worked in multiple fields related to the tasks of the resistance. Furthermore, for a long time, Safi al-Din devoted his life to Hezbollah and was close to the resistance fighters and loved the families of its martyrs. Hashem Safi al-Din was born in 1964 in Deir Kanun en Nar in southern Lebanon from a family of scholars. He was Nasrallah's maternal cousin, and his brother Abdallah Safi al-Din is a representative of Hezbollah in the Islamic Republic of Iran. Safi al-Din studied theology in the holy city of Najaf in Iraq and Qom in Iran before returning to Lebanon in 1994 to assume formal roles in the resistance movement. A year later, he was appointed to the Majlis al-Shura, or Consultative Assembly, which is Hezbollah's highest decision-making body. He was also head of the Jihad Council, which oversees the group's military activities. In October 2008, during Hezbollah's General Assembly, he was elected as Nasrallah's heir apparent. A year later, he was again elected member of the Shura Council and commander of the group in southern Lebanon in 2010. He was widely considered the most suitable candidate to replace Sayed Hassan Nasrallah as leader of the Lebanese resistance movement following the latter's assassination on September 27th. He was known for his eloquent oratory, inspired by Sayed Hassan Nasrallah and Hezbollah founder Sayed Abbas al-Musawi. Like Sayed Hassan Nasrallah, he was a staunch supporter of Palestine and the Palestinian cause, reiterating the Lebanese movement's support for the Palestinian resistance against Israel. And the Lebanese Al Mayadeen channel denounced a new air attack by the Israeli regime on its offices in Beirut. According to the media, all employees were evacuated after the beginning of the Israeli bombing campaign on Lebanon. In this context, the Lebanese media blamed the Israeli occupiers for the air attack. It should be recalled that the Israeli regime invaded southern Lebanon last October 1st and continues its attacks against that country, which have left to date more than 2,500 dead, including children and women, and over 11,800 wounded. On Wednesday, acrid clouds engulfing India's capital as air pollution fueled by fireworks and farm stubble burning was ranked hazardous by monitors for the first time this winter. Levels of fine particulate matter, cancer-causing microparticles known as PM2.5 pollutants that enter the bloodstream through the lungs, surged to nearly 23 times the World Health Organization recommended daily maximum. Air pollution is expected to worsen during the Hindu Festival of Lights, Diwali, which will take place on November 1st. This year, as smoky fireworks spewing hazardous toxins are part of celebrations. New Delhi is home to more than 30 million people and is regularly ranked as one of the most polluted urban areas on the planet.
I came to Delhi yesterday and I saw there is a lot of pollution here, which is giving us problems. We need to start wearing masks because it can cause health problems. There is so much traffic here that one needs to leave at least an hour ahead. Then there are problems like cough and colds due to this. Masks should be made compulsory because of pollution.
These days, if you want to go out, you can think of living without a mask. There is a constant bad smell and the pollution level is very high. It makes it difficult to breathe. I think everybody needs to wear a mask now.
In other news, at least 5 people were killed and 22 others wounded Wednesday in an attack on the headquarters of a Turkish aerospace firm near Ankara. The information was confirmed by Turkish Interior Minister Ali Yerlikaya, who said that 3 of the wounded had been released from hospital while 19 remained on treatment. The minister also informed that 2 attackers, a woman and a man, have been neutralized. On the other hand, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan condemned the action and called it a heinous terrorist attack. Even though there hasn't been any claim of responsibility for the operation so far, Turkish authorities said it could be linked to the outlaw Kurdistan Workers' Party, which has waged a decade-long insurgency against the government. And on Wednesday, Georgia's ruling party held its final campaign rally ahead of crucial elections. The founder of the governing Georgian Dream Party told thousands of supporters to choose peace, not war. After 12 years in government, Bitsina Ivanishvili's Georgian Dream faces a close race against 4 opposition groups. His party accuses the opposition of aiming to drag Georgia into involvement in the war in Ukraine. Georgians overwhelmingly backed joining the European Union, but the EU froze that process this year amid accusations from Brussels that the government was backsliding on democracy. The party is accused by the opposition of sabotaging Georgia's bid to join the EU, even though Georgian Dream insists they are still on course to do so by 2030. We now have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel assured that his government will not abandon any person or family affected by Hurricane Oscar in the eastern province of Guantanamo. The Cuban head of state, together with a delegation of top government officials, visited the hardest hit areas of the eastern region to appraise firsthand the damages and the progress of the recovery in the territory. The passage of Hurricane Oscar across parts of the nation's easternmost provinces overflowed rivers and destroyed houses, roads, bridges, and crops. The communique stated the following: as a result of both continuing with the recovery actions taken to counter the damages left by Tropical Storm Oscar in the eastern region and restoring the country's power grid, the National Defense Council has decided to extend until next Sunday, October 27th, the measures pursued by the government, which were published on October 20th, 2024, related to labor and teaching activities. The Cuban Revolutionary Government further informed will ratify that mobilized workers under these circumstances receive the payment of their average wage, and those who have not attended work due to the temporary suspension of activities will guarantee their salaries payment equivalent to their post wages. In this regard, the President of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, pointed out that some 41 countries and several international organizations have expressed their solidarity with Cuba, which is facing the simultaneous impacts of a tropical storm and energy emergency with admirable resilience. The United States declares that Cuba has not asked for anything. Here is Cuba's demand: lift the U.S. blockade. And in Venezuela, the President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, provided an assessment on the progress made by the Dialogue Commission for the Revision of Electoral Laws. In the framework of the beginning of the public consultation process, Rodriguez pointed out the need for the opinion and participation of citizens for the approval of the reforms of the electoral laws, which have been obsolete up to now. The official expressed that political parties, social and academic organizations, as well as the general public, are invited to give their opinion and contribute with the modification of these laws. Rodriguez added that the amendments to the electoral laws will allow to have a better scenario for the upcoming elections in 2025.
We are engaged in a deep process of consultation with all those who consider it necessary to join us in the process of dialogue to reform the electoral laws of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela.
And the President of the National Assembly invited all social movements to participate in the amendment of the laws for their subsequent approval in the National Assembly.
By the strength of the opinions of the political parties, of the organizations of social movements, of the academics, of the universities, of the cultural groups, and of the communal councils, that everyone can make their contributions and give their opinions so that before the end of December, the General Assembly of our Republic can approve the very important reforms of these laws.
Like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.